podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Boxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I wanna be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view. Me.
My drop, I know my drop, I know my situation. I want to fight. That's what I'm doing. Champion, you know. Fight is gonna be very difficult for both of us.
Boxingvoice.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Boxing Voice radio production. We're back with another Border Wars episode of Unguarded, as we're going to sit down with that one white boy, John from Texas. He will be taking off Southside Dazn for the 160-pound strap. Dazn coming off a hellacious knockout of Lauren, a.k.a. Maserati Blanco, and definitely has made a name for himself. And it looks like that one white boy, John, is no clout chaser, instead a fight chaser. John, talk to us. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you, Ness?
I'm good, man. Happy to have you. Obviously, everyone is looking forward to this fight because they know what Southside Dazn brings to the table. And you have a little bit of a similarity in his previous opponent, in the fact that you guys are both extremely confident and white guys.
White.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. White Boy John, where'd you get the name from?
Man, just from some of my old buddies I used to run around with. No biggie. You know what I mean? They just call me that one white boy. I stuck around when a lot of white boys left. They couldn't handle the heat. I stuck around. That's where I was birthed that name.
And what got you into boxing? Like physically doing it and, actually going to a gym?
At first, I was homeschooled, so I didn't get to do a whole lot of lifting or anything like that. Homeschoolers really don't have a gym other than if you want to do push-ups and shit. But so when I graduated, when I got out of high school, I started working out, really liked it, got really big. Almost weighed 190. I think the highest I've ever weighed was 183, and if I had a meal in me, probably 186. So I like the fact of working out. You know what I mean? It got boring. I got big. I was like, man, I'd like to cut, and started hitting the bag at Crunch. Next thing I know, my coach Jose comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, I could teach you a few things," pretty much telling me I was looking. And a year later,
you don't have the best connection, man. We're losing you there, John. Are you there?
Am I good?
I mean, you're definitely breaking up a lot.
I got you. Let me go down the street real quick. But anyways, just let me know if it keeps doing that.
It sounds better now, so.
All right. But anyways, his name's Jose Rodarte, and I train with him and Zeke and a few others. Martin Solano, he's a pro out of Amarillo here. He's now 3-0. Had a good fight last fight a couple months ago in Amarillo. Matt Machine Gun came down and watched those fights with me. Shout out to Machine Gun. He gonna deuce up Rob. Sorry, Rob. But Team Texas coming for all the gold. But yeah, Jose, it's been a year since I basically boxed for about a year. I've cut the whole time. My trainer said, don't lift no more weights, stick solely on boxing. I was pretty stiff at first. But now I weigh about 163, anywhere from 163 to 165 in the mornings. So to get to 160 is no problem. To get to 154 would be probably the lowest I would go. Super welterweight, I guess. So out of I could do 154 through 168 though. That was definitely it. But yeah, that's how I started boxing, Ness.
So when was the first time you got in the ring and actually sparred with someone?
probably about 6 months ago.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but yeah, it's about. I haven't sparred a whole bunch, you know what I mean. But I have put in some rounds. I started sparring MMA. Really, I started doing MMA a little bit, and found out that's too much to learn. Man, you got to be in that for years. You know, I'm only 26, but I fell in love with with the the science behind boxing. It's if you can't beat somebody with these, you know what I mean. It is what it is. I like boxing better. So about 6 months ago, I guess I hopped in the ring, got my ass tore up, but I hopped back in. So and I'm way better now, 100%.
So how tall are you for those that don't know?
5'10".
That's pretty tall.
Yeah, I'm 5'10". Yeah, I'm definitely not lanky though. You know, how tall is Lauren? Lauren's 6 foot maybe.
He definitely felt 6 foot and definitely felt long and tall.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I know what it's like to be a skinny white boy. I had to eat everything to gain weight. You know what I mean? I had to eat everything, bro. I was eating large pizzas. It sucks to bulk. I'm glad I don't have to do that shit no more.
All right, man. So obviously you got the Southside Ducey fight, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna have a lot of attention on it. What I mean, I don't know. What gives you the confidence? A guy that just started sparring 6 months ago. What gives you the confidence to get in there with what people are calling Border Wars' best? The only guy to knock someone out.
Hey man, he was telegraphing that shot a few times before he threw it, and Lawrence stepped right into it. You know, he took it straight to the chin, and yeah, there went the first KO. Border Wars. Right after that happened, I wanted Ducey. He's a southpaw, and Dante, Martin's brother, is a southpaw, and he fights. He's got the fighting style of a black guy, hands down. You know, the shoulder roll. So whatever Ducey comes at me with, it's cool. You know what I mean? Dante's done this before. Dante turned pro in Mexico when he was 17. So no, but Ducey, I want his name on my resume along with Mitty. You know, that's who I wanted first. Really was Lauren, because I stepped into Border Wars as soon as Lauren and Ducey was about to get in. Was like, because Ducey was thinking about, oh, I don't know if I could come. You know, this and that. Then people was putting heat on him. I think he did it for the build up, really, because him and Lauren both said that they was chatting behind the scene. And whatever they did good. They did good because it led up to everything. Now Ducey is the 160 champion, and I'm coming for that belt though, because I mean I'm not Lauren. Yeah, I may be white, but I ain't Lauren. I'm that one white boy. You know what I mean? I'm coming for that ass. I ain't coming to pit pat with you. You know, Southside's a cool dude though. You know, I can just tell from in the chat and things like that. He's a funny guy. It's hard not to laugh at some of the things he says, but to come inside the ring, there ain't gonna be no more laughing.
Now, this is your first fight on Border Wars. Have you ever had any amateur fights or anything? Because, I mean, you're talking with the confidence of a guy that's already competed.
I mean, I'm a competitor. I'm a man. You know what I mean? That's why I like boxing, and that's why I love Border Wars. I mean, yes, I could. I mean, anybody can join. Anybody can go to the amateurs. You ain't got to be special to go to the amateurs. You just got to get all your physical done and get your book. You know what I mean? And then you start going to events. But you know, I'm not old, but I'm not young. I'm almost 27. I'll turn 27 in April. Shout out to all the tourists out there. But I'll be 27 in April. I fell in love with the boxing voice, and then right after that, Jim J hashtag Border Wars in the chat. I was like, yo, what's this? He told me about it. I was hooked. I loved it. You know what I mean? Even my homeboys are like, man, you should just sign up for the amateurs, bro. I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like this is where I belong. And I feel like this fight with Ducey is going to put me right there. And I need this, you know what I mean? And I got it, you know. It is what it is. Whatever happened to get here to get it. But it's mine now.
For sure, for sure. So, I hate that we have to continuously compare you, but having Lauren, the cocky white guy that everybody backed because it got extremely difficult for him to get a fight. Just talk to us about your difficulties getting a fight, if any, because it seems like you're the exact opposite of Lauren. Seems like you had a lot of options. I mean, from what the reports say, Mitty is actually upset you pulled out of the fight.
He is, yeah. I'm sorry, Mitty. You know what I mean? He did. He went out there on a limb and he gave me a chance. You know what I mean? And but honestly, I need a fight or two before Mitty. Just one though. I feel like this one with Southside Ducey will put me right there. And I'm not being cocky. I'm being confident. I'm in the gym at least 5 days a week and sometimes twice a day. You know, I'm honing in all my skills. You know, I'm doing the things that I should be doing as a fight to take the fight with Mitty. I'm shadow boxing. I'm working on technical things. You know what I mean? I'm doing the things I should be doing. Mitty sees it. Mitty sees it in a couple of us. He said it in the Border Wars chat. I think he said Sal, Ant, and me. I believe it was that. But he said we're all in the same boat. You know, we're not on his level, but I disagree. You know, but I'll just have to put all those rumors to rest. I did have a lot. You know, I did have a couple of offers. One obviously fell through. But those were for other reasons being. Yes, and Mitty did challenge me, but then when Southside Ducey said he would give me the shot for the strap, yeah, I'll take that.
Now, speaking of Southside Ducey, have you guys been in communication? I see you every day super chatting, asking him to sign up. When are you going to get confirmation that this fight is real?
And that's what I'm wondering. And no, I haven't hit him up on the side. The last time I did that, people got butt hurt and started saying some crazy shit. So I ain't going to do that no more. I'm going to stick to just the chat where everybody can see it and it can be out in the plain open, you know, or out in the open. But no, he'll sign up. You know what I mean? He told me today he would. I wish he would do it so we can say we can sign and seal it. Boom. And it's done with. But I do believe him. I think he's a man of his word.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he said he would fight the last time. I want to say some people doubted him, and he's definitely put all that doubt to bed. He went out there, he performed on a high level, but there's a lot of pressure on him. Do you think that there's more pressure on him to perform in the manner in which he already performed, or is there more pressure on you being the hometown fighter of Texas?
I believe there's more pressure on me because I've been talking a lot of shit and I'm ready to back it up. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that dude that gets out there and don't back up what he says. I've never been about that, and I won't be like that. It's gonna be a war. That's all. I want it to be like that, and in my mind, it plays out like that. It's gonna be a Sean Porter and a Keith Thurman type of fight. If it ain't like that, I mean, I don't even feel like I want to come back to Border Wars.
But who are you? If it's Sean Porter and Keith Thurman, who are you?
I'm Keith Thurman. I win, but I'm bringing the Sean Porter aggressiveness. And it's gonna be a great fight. I promise. Because Southside Ducey's game, he is. You know what I mean? He was stepping back and he was throwing them shots, and he can't say that was 50%. You know that was more like 85. That wasn't everything. Because before that, Ducey, you step back and threw it, and you realize, oh shit, I could catch him. And then he stepped back again and threw it. I bet you threw it at about 85.
Well, he caught him with the shot, maybe two shots or one shot before the actual knockout punch. He had landed it, and I don't know if it softened Lauren up or it just made Southside aware of that shot, possibly being the knockout punch. But yeah, so what part of Texas are you from? Born and raised?
Amarillo, Texas. Born and raised in Amarillo, Texas. But I've been here for probably 22 years of my life. I spent almost 5 in Minnesota. Okay.
And you mentioned Machine Gun Matt in Plainsview. Did you guys meet up? Any sparring? What could you tell us?
We're in communications, and we will be getting together right after Christmas. So you guys can have some New Year's videos of Machine Gun Matt.
But you haven't been able to work with him yet?
Not yet.
That was a long pause, man. Team Texas keeping secrets?
we working, but we ain't gonna just give out everything. We have a game plan.
Okay, man. So what's your 2-fight plan? Because you're saying maybe 1 fight, maybe 2 fights. So, perfect world, you don't get rushed into Midi. You do beat Southside Ducey. Who's next? What's next?
I beat Southside Ducey, and then after that, do I get a I get a voluntary, right?
Of course.
Of course. So, depending on how much shit Mitty wants to talk, because he said his promoter said let his mouth go, I guess. Depending on what he says, what he brings out in me, it just depends. I would like to. We'll just see. Maybe this draws other talent. I'm hoping this Border Wars, and I know this Border Wars will draw more talent, and people with skills, and people that are behind the scenes that are jealous. They'll come out and they'll be like, "Oh man, you know what I mean? Border Wars is getting big because we're gonna be on White Collar Boxing League here pretty soon. We're gonna do it big just like them, Ness."
I agree. So, I mean, I'm not 100% clear. Obviously, I would have to refer to the rules, but Southside does have a mandatory after his voluntary. So I'm not sure if you beat the champion on his voluntary, do you automatically inherit his mandatory, or do you get your voluntary and then they call the mandatory? I would have to resort to the WBC rulings to check. But it's either is one or the other, It's either you beat him, if you can beat him, and inherit his immediate mandatory, or you're granted the voluntary because you fought him on a voluntary. I got to double check, though.
Okay, all right, yeah. It would make sense if I beat him and he's been mandated to fight the champion at that weight.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was mandated, but Southside was allowed to have his voluntary, which he's doing now with you. But again, I know that those rules are funny, so it's probably best to read it instead of just assuming, because sometimes it depends on how the belt is won.
Okay.
Yep. So you're about an hour away from some of the other horsemen, because you're part of the Team Texas, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct, Ness. I'm about an hour and 10 minutes away from Matt and Joseph. And prayers go up to old Joseph, man. He was sounding rough last night, man.
He did.
He sounded like he had more than the flu. He sounded like he had Ebola. But big ups to you, man. I hope you get better.
So I'm gonna ask you about Joseph because according to sources, they say he consulted with his coach and team. So I'm assuming you're part of the team, and I just wanted to know what was it that made you tell him, if you did or didn't, not to go forward with the Jose fight and instead focus on weight loss, is what I'm being told.
You know what? He got he got a gym there in Plainview, and his coach recommended to him he lose a little weight, and I'm off for what SuperMEX. He's the fighter, you know what I mean? I'm down for what the fighter wants, you know what I mean? So I agree with him. I'm all on board with Joseph. Whatever he wants to do as a fighter, I'm 100% backing that man.
I'm gonna be honest. I think if I was in his position, it all depended on how I felt moving with that weight. That being said, I think I would be more motivated to lose weight if I had a fight, because I knew that the man across from me was going to try and take me out. You know what I mean? So I would probably work a little harder to be in the best shape possible.
And I don't doubt that Joseph would do that, regardless of who he was fighting. But, it is what it is. The decision's made, and I stick with Joseph for it.
Did you like the fight, though? Would you have given Joseph credit for beating Jose and vice versa?
I don't know what to give Jose credit for anymore. You know what I mean?
I mean, is that fair of you, just meeting him, knowing he's 3-0? There's not many 3-0 fighters in the Border Wars ecosystem. He had to be doing something at one point.
But you said he beat Enrique twice, right? So he fought him twice and Cruz once.
Yep.
And arguably, a lot of people think Cruz won that fight. But,
I was on the other half of that. I thought he lost that fight.
Yeah. I know that. I know Ness has been an advocate of El Loco. I know that.
Well,
Was
not
I
of El
for the fight?
Loco, not of El Loco. I'm not a fan of El Loco at all.
Oh, okay.
But I commentated the fight and I had to do a job and I saw what I saw. You know,
Yeah.
I expected more from Cruz. Maybe I was victim of thinking that Gennady Golovkin was going to put on a show and he didn't. He didn't. Cruz didn't. And instead, what I saw was a dude boxing and boxing a lot, in my opinion. But I guess I'm in the minority on that. Maybe one day they'll get the rematch. Who knows? So you fluctuated a lot. Like you were willing to take fights as high as 75, 68, everywhere. And that drink has to have what? What's in it? I mean,
Nah, man, this is Bang's new stoked. It's like
no sugars?
filled with nah, man. Nah, it's vegan friendly too. Man, they got zero sugar, zero carbs, 0 calories. It's good for you, man. It's good for your soul.
I'm just saying, because you're willing to go down to 54. You'll fight at 60.
Listen, I fluctuate now on my regular weight. Listen, I was gonna fight CYP at 175 because he wasn't willing to come down to 170. I ain't gonna bulk to 175. I was gonna just bulk to however what I could get to. Well, I probably would have got to 168. And that was it. I was gonna fight him at 7 pounds underweight than him. I still would have smoked him.
Well, I mean, that's neither here nor there anymore. You got someone that the world does know, that the world's excited to see back. I'm actually happy that you brought him out. I mean, we weren't sure whether or not he was gonna defend on this particular one. But he did say he was. He did talk to other people. I'm just saying, like on a show, he never said it, but he had already told people that he was gonna fight in February. But yeah, man, this makes for a great card. Speaking of, let's get out to some picks. Actually, you know what? Let's get out to the questions from the public. I'm sure Sal from California is going to ask you for his picks, your picks on his fight.
He's done it every time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Sal, Iron Sal from California, he's the first, and he says, how you get into boxing? How did you hear of Border Wars? And, of course, what are your predictions for the fights?
All right, so at the beginning, I touched up on how I got into boxing. I was at a local gym here in town called Crunch. They're famous in California and things like and states like that, I guess. But hitting the bag, Mexican fella came over and said, "What's up? I'll teach you how to really box." And a year later, I'm here. My predictions, main event, and what got me into boxing too, man. It's a manly sport, bro. You know what I mean? I think teenagers and even millennials, and I know I have to count myself as a millennial. We're just a soft generation in general. You know what I mean? So just step in the ring, man. That's some manly shit, and it's you and the other man across the ring. Ain't nobody in there to help you, and that's where you get deep. And that's why I really like boxing. But my picks, of course, I ain't gonna pick against Marvin. He gonna smoke you, Sal. I'm gonna pick me with a dramatic finish over Ducey. Next on the card, who we got, Ness and Eddie. I'm going up with the upset. Eddie's working hard, and he's got the skills to pay the bills, and Ness, it does. And for those who's calling it a cherry, y'all need to quit that shit because Eddie got the skills. I promise, and he gonna come in looking fit. Next was Machine Gun.
Machine Gun and Rob, yeah.
Machine Gun and the Cable Guy. Listen, Rob, he's a funny guy. I like Rob. He's got a lot of charisma about him, and I like him. But Machine Gun, he's in the lab, man, and he's cooking it up. I promise you. You guys are gonna see a different Machine Gun. You might as well call him the Tommy Gun after this because he's a completely different fighter. Believe that. And then Baker and
the Destroyer, Colin.
Listen, I seen Colin. Now, are they going up a weight, Ness, or are they
Nah. What they at 68?
Is that what Colin fought at last time?
Yep.
Oh, well, I think Colin's got it down this time. I think he'll make weight, no problem. Big ups to you, Colin. I've never cut weight like that or never had to. You know what I mean? So, I have never seen Jordon fight, and Colin beat his last opponent, right, Ness?
Yep, boxing therapy. But he
I
almost
like
got
Jordon.
stopped. In my opinion,
Yeah.
my commentary, I
Yeah.
feel like he almost got stopped. He got hit with some shit where I'm telling you, one more shot, it would have been over. That's what I thought. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm going with my final prediction is Jordon. I like his swagger, and I like the way he talks, and he's got a little chip on his shoulder in the chat. So I always like that about a fighter. So I'm gonna go with Jordon on that one. Colin, he looks a little bit like Kovalev. He looked like he'd be drinking too much vodka, if you ask me. But who's the next one?
Donel and JD.
Oof. Man, I can't even knock JD because he's been in there with the pound for pound. He's been in there with Mitty. You know what I mean? And but Donel, everybody's been talking about Donel, and he sparred in Dangu, right? At Wilder's gym. Yeah, so I mean, man, I'm telling you, when you step in there with them type of level fighters, I don't care how they take it on you. You gain. It's like going Super Saiyan in your mind, and then you take that with you forever. You know what I mean? Those are just accolades. I'm telling you, it's going to be a fire fight. They might steal the show. That might be fight of the night. Psych. My fight will be, but I guess I'm going to go ahead and go with JD because he's from Texas as well.
All right. Iron Sal back with another one says, what do you think of Southside Ducey's strengths are? What do you think his strengths are?
His strengths are definitely he's a southpaw. He's probably the only one in Border Wars. Is there any more?
Isn't Anna Southpaw?
Oh, Ian is a southpaw. You're right. But he switches. He's a switch hitter. He said that in his interview. He actually puts people down with the orthodox stance, so he can be considered a switch hitter. Really, I wish I was more like that. I've been trying to work on that, but it's not. It's difficult, man. It ain't easy. I guess man, his strengths is definitely his power. You can't sleep on his power. And I want him to throw it early. I want to feel it. You know what I mean? But I've been in there with other people with better power than him. I know that for sure.
Bruh, how you gonna say with better power than him and you know it for sure? You ain't been in there with him yet.
I've been in there with people that have turned pro when they were 17 years old, Ness, knocking grown men out.
But that don't mean they got better power. I look, unless they fought the same person, there's no barometer. Like, you got to be in there with them to feel the power. Like,
I guess I do. I got to be in there, and it's all going to be with USA headgear, so I'm going to feel them shots. If he can touch me, if he can even touch me with that left or whatever he's coming at me with. We'll see. He says he likes to set traps, and he likes to do this and do that. Well, I like to set traps, too, so it's going to be a chess game. And my feet are faster than yours. My foot feints are better than yours. Everything I do is going to be better than you, Deucey. And you.
Yo, but you going based off the last fight, champ. You don't know if he got a style per fight.
That. Like I said, I watched that fight one time. And what I saw in him was an opponent on a lesser level skill than him. Watch when I get in there and watch what I do to him. His strengths also are he's also a very smart man. He can set traps. He can do those types of things. But what happens when he gets touched? What happens? Because, as soon as you get touched, we don't know, though. It's, oh, shit.
But we don't know.
Exactly. But you're going to find out. Tune in February 29th. You're going to find out.
All right, we got Eddie, Bola de Grasa, Las Vegas says, you seem to have opportunities to go into the amateurs. Why do Border Wars?
Well, here's the thing. Like I said at the beginning, that's a good question. I'm a fan of the boxing voice, man. I couldn't stay on the level that I was at. I enjoy the show too much. I found myself when they would stop, when the show would go off, I'm like, bro, when's the next one? I'm at work. You know what I mean? I got to take my headphones out and I got to listen to these people. And I'm trying to listen to some news. I'm trying to listen to some drama. I love the boxing voice. So I'm almost 27. For me to go into the amateurs, it would cost me some money. They don't pay for everything. You can get your gym to kind of support you, maybe get some discounts on some things. But overall, I just feel like I should invest my time and my money into the boxing voice. And I signed up and I upgraded to a ringer. And in all honesty, I wish I could do the pound for pound because it's worth every penny of it in my eyes. And I get to do Border Wars. Watch this next time. You never know. This next card could be amazing. And then after that, something good could happen for me. If you out there and you're just like, man, you got some hands, and you can get in there and bang with some people, and you want to try your luck, man, hop into Border Wars for $5 a month. You can be a Patreon, and you can see all the content. You know what I mean? And if you can't even afford $5, there's a $3 limit too, because I know it's hard out there. But I'm telling you, it's worth every penny of it, dude.
All right, we got Robert the Genius. What is the most amount of rounds you've sparred in the gym, and how often do you go to the gym?
Well, I go to the gym very often. There's two types of gyms I go to, though. I go to Nick's Fight Club, the boxing gym, and then I also go to Verdure, like right next to my apartments, where I'm right out of right now. As soon as I hop off this, I'm in the lab, Deucey. But listen, I go to Nick's once or twice a week, probably, to just do the sparring, because here at Verdure they don't really do all that. I will spar more as the fight gets closer. But the most rounds I've sparred in a day is 6. You know what I mean? With kind of like a round robin type of thing, where you stay in for 6 rounds and you get 3 different fighters coming at you, 3 different styles. But yeah, I'm in the gym at least 5 days a week.
All right, all right, all right. We got Super Blue. How did you change your training approach now that CYP is not scheduled as your opponent?
Well, CYP, I don't even know what stance he was. I don't know much about that dude anymore.
So you never changed.
No, my fighting style has always be the same.
All right. Visa says, do you think that you and CYP can ever be cordial enough to have a fight in Border Wars? You guys definitely remind me of the fight this weekend with Charlo and Harrison. Bad blood is real.
Yeah, give me Boardwalk in place. You know what I mean? I'm in his head. I was in his head just like Harrison was in Charlo's. But CYP is a lot like Charlo. He's a very he has to have that chip on his shoulder. You know what I mean? And I know what that is like. He says I wasn't an athlete, but I'm an athlete, fool. I know what it's like to have that chip on your shoulder too. But if we could be ever cordial to each other, I do believe so. Maybe after this Border Wars, he'll figure out, what he really wants, and maybe he'll come out of the woodworks. But that fight was canceled for a couple of reasons.
All right. Well, we have CYP that says, since you obviously ducked me, why do you continue to mention my? I mean, let me just actually read it the way he wrote it, because he wrote it in third person.
Okay.
Since you obviously ducked CYP, why do you continue to mention his name? He still wants you. So if the feeling isn't mutual, keep quiet, right? If not, I'm sure Southside will step aside.
Listen, here's the thing. That fight was made and sealed, and the money was in there. Some shit happened. I've spoke on it. He spoke on it. I mentioned his name in the chat because he's a clown. Am I not able to mention your name? I can mention your name all I want. But if you want to come, you know what I mean? If he wants to fight me after Border Wars, after Southside Deucey, if he can be cordial, you know what I mean? Then yeah, we can definitely do it, bro. I'm down for that. But I've got the belt at 160.
I mean, a title's definitely going to make it more interesting. Eric Cruz in Texas, how was it being raised as a PK, preacher's kid?
Man, looking back, man, when I was younger, I didn't take advantage of it like I should have. I was a rebel. I got sent to the boys' ranch, But I did a lot of things when I was younger. I took advantage of my dad and my parents and what they was giving me when I was younger. I'm thankful for it now. But it was rough, man. I was sheltered. I wasn't able to do much, so I rebelled. I bucked the system, and paid the prices for it when I was younger and into my early 20s. But I'm back at it brand new. But I enjoyed it. Looking back, I wish I would have done some things differently, though, Cruz.
All right, we got SG Pass, Steve in Chicago. What is your walk around weight, and how much weight do you cut for your fights?
I walk around about 163 to 165, and to get to 160 is water weight. to get to 154 is a little bit more than water weight, but walk around weight is 163 to 165. I can fluctuate between any of those any of those weight classes because of my athleticism.
All right, we got well. Robert the Genius. WhiteBoy versus CYP must happen one day in the ring. Fight like men and get it over with. Great grudge match. So I guess
Absolutely.
no question, just statement.
Yeah, that's Rob for you.
We got Canada says, what irritates you most about CYP?
That he braids his hair.
Jose in Canada, I don't like you. You're a dick. But I'll give you credit. You sound good on the mic and somewhat entertaining. Question. If I give Cruz the rematch, what can he do to beat me? What would you tell him to do as a coach? Respond properly, not like a troll.
I watched the fight one time. Man, the fight was he knows how to ask a question. He really does. Jose, I don't like you much either. I think you're kind of a prick too. But I think you give Border Wars a little spice, man. You need to chill in the chat though, damn. But I would tell Cruz nothing more. I mean, I be a little more aggressive. I probably, Cruz isn't. I don't think Cruz is a part of Team Texas. I'm not for sure. Maybe he's thinking he is, but I would probably tell him just go out there and try to sleep your ass. Make a statement.
Not much advice from based off the first game plan, and that's why he lost, I think. That's all Jose wants to hear, but I don't know. That is all the questions from the public, and we have no callers. Let me get a refresh here. Yep, no callers, and that was the last question. I guess any closing thoughts for the public and any new fans you might have got? Anybody excited and interested to watch you take on Southside Dazn for that coveted green belt?
Thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Voice. If you're out there, smash the like button. If you don't smash the like button, you suck. Dazn, I respect you. I think you're a down-to-earth dude. But I'm not going to come in there like Lauren did. I'm coming in. You're going to film my shots. I'm in the lab. There ain't really nothing you can do, in my eyes, to me, in the ring, other than that straight left you put Lauren down with. You had an opponent that wasn't ready. I think he talked himself up in his mind way too much. I seen his sparring videos before. I knew he was holding back, but I could see the excuse me. I could see the jitters in him. And those are the kind of jitters you definitely don't want in the ring. And you got to hash those out before you get there. So I feel like your opponent wasn't on your level, and I am above your level. So my last thoughts are train hard, bro, because I want the best Southside Dazn in there. I'm looking for the KO. I'm coming in to take the head off of the snake.
Bo, you gotta hit us up on Skype. I never set up Blog Talk. I just did Skype for these. Bo and Bama. We're going to stick around for a few seconds, give you some time to call in case you got any questions for that one white boy. Bo and Bama obviously is one of the rankings committee members. Make sure that those that belong on the pound for pound are on the pound for pound, and the clowns that don't belong there get taken down.
Ness, can I ask you a question?
Sure, brother, shoot.
Okay. How many times are you in the lab?
What, in the gym?
In the gym.
Man,
how
5 days a
training,
week,
Freddie?
man. 5 days a week. I try to go 5 days a week. I'll be honest with you, I missed yesterday, but mine's is really scheduled. Like to be a business owner and work from home, I utilize a lot of the hours, man. So yesterday, because of the evening 3-hour show, I wasn't able to go because, my coach, it's really whenever he can. So if he's available for me in the morning, we got a morning gym. And if he's available at night, then we go in the afternoon. So I always try to shoot for the morning, right after the morning show. And if he can do it, do me, obviously. If he can do it, then we go in after the morning show. If not, it's in the evening, and the evening gym that we got. But yeah, man, I definitely want 5 days a week. That's what I'm trying. I don't do the whole take anybody lightly. You
shouldn't.
I would never lose a fight based off me not training. It's not gonna be that, you know what I mean? It'll be for something else. Just no skill. I got knocked out, but it won't be because I didn't prepare. I think that's why I'm so hard on Andy, because it's just like, that's the one thing that you got to do. You can't ask your trainer to fight for you. He could only teach you. He could only guide you. If you ain't putting in the work, you ain't putting in the work. But yeah, it looks like Bo didn't call in, man. We're going to go ahead and what's dude's IG? Give them your social media. They want to see you. They want to see you hitting the bag.
My social media is that one white boy, same as in the chat, but with 3 eyes. Emphasize the boy.
3 eyes, not the way I spelled it.
Yes, sir.
I spelled it properly to get SEO.
He said,
I spelled it correctly to get SEO, so that we get search engine optimization. You know what I mean? And people get to see this interview. They get to see the potential new 160-pound or a player at 160. You never know. I mean, sometimes you can still win in defeat. Ask Tyson Fury. Nest GTO, Instagram and Twitter. Catch us on the next episode of Unguarded. Southside Deucey still has to do one. Obviously, JD in Texas, Donel, Mitty, dozens more to go. So stay tuned. Peace.